Travel posters during the 1900s were purely to advertise their country to other countries around the world and show off what the country had to offer. It was a strategy of advertisement to grow and increase tourism as well as show the world what others are missing out on. How has this form of modern Australian identity influenced the promotion of Australia as a tourist destination today? Many artists contributed their talents towards creating posters and other artistic material for the benefit of tourism increase in Australia. This modern form of these travel posters was a way that many artists decided to show and advertise Australia through type, imagery, and a combination of those two both. These travel posters influenced many foreigners of what Australia had to offer that was unique to Australia, and that's what these travel posters aim to do. Show others from different countries what Australia had that other countries didn't have. Many artists have shown what they think is special to Australia through their own artistic style. Gert Sellheim showed his ideas of Australia through travel posters, and I think are very effective and creative, and that's why I chose to study him. Gert Hugo Emanuel Sellheim was born in Viljandi, Russia on the 31st of December. He aspired to be an architect and a graphic designer and started his architectural studies in Berlin, Munich, Vienna, Graz, and Paris. He flew to Fremantle in Western Australia in 1926 and registers as an architect on May 21st, 1929. Gert then moved to Melbourne, Australia and practiced industrial and commercial design, which is when he began designing travel posters of Australia. Gert then became a commercial designer and began designing and producing posters and produced one of his most famous posters titled Australia Surf Club. After many of his posters and designs that Gert created to advertise Australia to others around the world, he became one of ANTA's, which is Australian National Travel Association's, earliest and most original designers. Gert had his own style that he portrayed through his visual creativity. He wanted to show the real rather than the idealized version of Australia. He obviously did this through his simplistic style, through the design elements and principles of colour, shape, type, and many more to help communicate his thoughts and his own view of Australia. Gert stood out from the rest of the other designers to me because he made his posters simple, rather than trying to add lots of stuff and make them busy. He followed the rule of less is more, and I think he followed that very effectively, having a large impact through a modernist, simple design. I think Gert Sellheim shows modernism in his works, but specifically in his travel posters, as he has thoroughly thought out the quality and expression that he is communicating through his designs. His designs show modernism through his simplistic design style and thinking about less is more. He also combines different art periods with his style, as he uses Art Deco style type within his poster designs, but yet creating this really simple and effective poster to make the audience think more about his poster design and what exactly he's trying to communicate through his artwork. Gert has modernized his artwork to show you this simplistic style that features different areas from different art periods and makes his designs more modern through his simplistic styles that he shows in his ANTA travel posters. During the 1900s, there was a specific style that was created due to the technology during that time. Most poster designs started off being created on wood blocks or metal engravings with only little colour. However, this changed when a French artist, Jules Cheret, invented a 3-stone lithographic printing process that allowed artists to create and produce vivid and colourful artwork. Lithography is a printing process that uses flat stones or a metal plate on which the image areas and worked using greasy substance so that the ink would adhere to them, while the non-image areas are made ink repellent so that the ink wouldn't adhere to those areas, creating imagery through the process of pressing ink into the material. This changed the way many artists created artworks, and especially for the printing process of travel posters. It changed the advancements of technology from traditionally painting on wood planks to having this new high-tech printing process of lithography. During the 1900s, these travel posters were created and designed to advertise these countries and to convince foreigners to travel to Australia. That's the purpose of these travel posters, to be viewed worldwide and try to grow an audience from around the world, and to attract to many people and be inviting towards coming to Australia. These travel posters are very successful because of their modernist style during the 1900s and the effective use of design elements and principles, like the use of balance and hierarchy to emphasize the more important parts of the posters to be noticed first. Proportion, scale, and pattern all help to create these very effective travel posters by these artists. Gert uses many of these to help his posters be as successful as they are. Point, line, shape, form, color, texture, and type also greatly help create these travel posters and were all thought about when in the creation process of these poster designs to try and create the most convincing and effective poster of Australia. Gert's different approach of using these elements and principles create a modernist design style that is very clear of what his aim for his poster designs were and what it was advertising. Gert Sellheim's artwork was to promote the idealism of modernism and modernist design during this simplistic style and effectiveness of his style and his posters. His artworks are simple, using shape, color, and are really aesthetically pleasing due to its colors, hierarchy, and the placement of certain subjects within the poster borders. All the type and imagery is placed in specific areas on purpose to perfectly communicate the purpose of the poster. Modernism has grown and become more relevant and viewed differently over the art periods. Gert Sellheim has combined his elements from past art periods, like the Art Deco period, and incorporated it with his own style of modernism. Combining the two styles creates this very unique style which Gert Sellheim uses in his poster designs. His combination of the two styles that Gert shows also promotes the effectiveness of the simplicity of his style and designs. I think Gert Sellheim's artworks are a good design for social change for modernism, using elements from different periods and combining them together to show the effectiveness of both art periods. Gert Sellheim implemented elements of Indigenous imagery to symbolise Australian identity, celebrating Indigenous art and culture. He includes subtle Indigenous elements in a select number of artworks in little detail and very subtly. His artworks combined with some Indigenous elements with some modern elements and simplicity, which I think gave form to a modern identity for a new age and attract some different groups of his artworks. Successfully combining elements of different art periods and cultures made lots of people recognize his work and showed modernism to different groups and to a new age to show the effectiveness and the different art styles and methods. Dundee campaign was another way of promoting and advertising Australia like the travel posters' purpose were to. The Dundee campaign was hugely successful by manipulating American audiences to believe that there was a movie about Australia coming out to attract an American audience towards travelling to Australia. Americans thought that there was a movie about Australia coming out, when really it was planned to be advertised like that to try and convince Americans to come to Australia and benefit Australian tourism. The Dundee campaign used videography as their medium and used famous actors to make the movie trailer more believable. I think Gert Sellheim's artworks is successful in a modern and simplistic art style, whereas the Dundee campaign shows more of Australia as it shows a more realistic visual representation of Australia compared to the artistic style. The famous actors included creates a sense of wanting to experience Australia for themselves, as well as lots of people look up to actors and famous peoples. So the element of a famous person being in it, lots of people will see those famous persons and want to experience what they have experienced, shown in Australia.